Alright, welcome back to another video. Today is the brief wrap-up plus bonus footage that has never been released until now. Begin! Tomorrow night, I'm going to be releasing a full breakdown where we pretty much go over every single thing that we found and kind of explain our take on everything and maybe even like stuff we can correct in hindsight. But tonight, I kind of just wanted to do a little recap and make sure that everyone is kind of on the same page. So, night one. Not very talkative. I think we could have spent more time in the basement. I think if we kind of, I mean, it was our first time doing kind of like more of an investigation style video. Leaving night one, how do you feel?
Well, personally, if you got upset from the amount of times of me apologizing to them, it's just because I want to make sure that they're comfortable. And
it's only going to get worse as nights go on.
I just want to make sure that they're comfortable and that if they don't want to talk, I don't want to like provoke them in any way.
Right.
And then
you want to be respectful, and especially not going into it, or going into it not really knowing or having an experience, you kind of feel more like you're invading space even though you live here.
We didn't want to say, come rip our faces off.
Yeah, I don't like that style of video. I mean, I'm sure it gets the clicks, but like, it's just in terms, if everything's real and like these people obviously are suffering in some way, like you kind of want to be respectful. So we didn't want to ask many questions the first night. I think that kind of summarizes night one. We only asked a few, I think a total of like 10 to 12 questions. Also, in hindsight, we didn't really think anything was going to happen in night one. Yeah, I mean, we didn't... Actually, no, I don't even think I had a plan for Ghost Week. So, basically, to kind of explain Ghost Week, it was kind of a random idea I had after we recorded the video. But after stuff started happening, I thought, what if we can kind of explore what else has happened in this house? So I think it was important to kind of make multiple videos on this. Night one was just kind of like an experiment just to see what would happen, and after we found out stuff would happen, I decided, what if we made a whole week about this? So we made 3 nights, and first night, like we were saying, at least gave us the confidence to know that who we're talking to is who we're talking to, and that we're at least starting it off with the right people, I would say. Hashtag Brian, thank you.
Brian.
So would you agree with that?
I do agree with the fact that we started off with the right person. If Brian wasn't the person we talked to first, I probably would have not been okay continuing.
Yeah. If there was a being that I want to go into it with, it would probably be Brian, and I'm happy because I kind of used the term as tour guide, and he helped us kind of walk through each night. So I would say night one was a pretty solid night, and it gave us the confidence to kind of go into night two, which I would say was an improvement. They're a little more vague, but a little more responsive at the same time. Night two, I think we definitely stirred the pot a little bit. So how do you feel about night two? Like, how do you think it went? And for those that don't know, we obviously have all 3 nights. I'll put them right.
We'll link them
here.
No,
or here. Here. I'll do.
Here. It's on your side.
I'll have all the links linked right here.
Or in the description, because there's 3 videos.
I'll start a playlist for Ghost Week. I'll link the playlist somewhere over here.
Yeah, overall, I just think night 2 was a learning experience for all of us. We're just starting to get used to it. They're getting used to the noises. They were getting used to how to manipulate the device.
Yeah.
But going into night 3, I think that, like, I think some like the ability to finally be able to, like, speak out about what they're, like, thinking.
I would say it definitely seemed like they were thinking this stuff for a while, and we're finally giving them the chance to say it. So it's not like they were trying to speak out for a while, but it kind of seemed like they're finally saying, hey, we're here, we want you to know we're here, which is kind of surprising to me. They say ghost hunting, but like we didn't have to hunt at all. Like it kind of like fell in our laps, and we were like thankful for that, because every single time we asked a question we got a pretty fulfilling answer. But I think going into night 3, the gloves were off. I think the deeper voice was kind of like...
Fed up?
Yeah, I would say fed up, or at least the patience wore thin. They felt more comfortable, it seemed like, to kind of joke around, mock us a little bit. We got all of our nicknames that we have was brought up in the video.
Well, they said my name at first, and we didn't even ask them. So that proves that they know who we are before we even...
Right.
I think in that aspect, they're respectful. Like, they know that right now, this is my room. Like, I'm fine with acknowledging that whoever's here, this was also their room. Like, you know what I mean? They've
never been invasive. I will say that. The only time I had a physical experience was on the bed, and they mocked me for that. So I think that kind of plays into it. The fact that, like, there's been one experience, and they're kind of like, it was one experience, dude. Like, why are we doing this? So I think it's like, that's why I kind of mentioned the whole intelligent ghost. It's a common phrase. It's not to say a ghost is dumb or a ghost is smart. It's just to explain the ability a ghost has to kind of cross over and to interact with us. So I would say all 5 were pretty intelligent ghosts, but Brian was definitely I don't want to say leader, but like he kind of like led the way, kept it safe, and it didn't get too out of hand when honestly it probably could have in terms of like how they were talking.
Just being like reassured, like, is Brian here? And then it's like, yeah, he's here, and then it's like, oh, okay.
So it's like, it's
very
kind of like
comforting.
It's almost like the whole thing about ghosts is like they come out when they want, and the fact that we're calling upon like 5 different beings at once, and they're all coming forward and
different personalities, and different motives.
Yeah, it's the thing too. Like each one had a very specific personality, and that's what I like the most because it's harder to disprove that it wasn't just yes or no questions. They were showing each intelligent personalities. They were showing different ways of talking, different levels of patience. Brian never lost patience, at least from what we found in the video. The girl that we found seemed a little more innocent, maybe a little more nervous about the whole situation, like a little more shy. Then we got the Southerner who seemed to have a little bit less of patience, but...
In my opinion, he was like the stereotypical Southern male. You know what I mean? Like this...
Yeah, there's like a sense of like playfulness and just kind of like a charm. But, like, it also had that side of, like, we gotta wrap this up if it's not gonna go any further than what it's saying. And then there's the deeper voice, seemed to be, like, not, like, against Brian, but, like, the anti-Brian. Now I'm getting chills as I just said that. That's kind of weird.
I think it balances out, though.
Yeah, it definitely balances out. I think there's a lot more... I think the thing that we can find comfort in is that even though the deeper voice spirit seemed to have a negative, like, motive to a lot of the stuff they were saying, there is... like 3 more that was kind of like
do what you gotta do.
Yeah, just do it. Like literally told us just do it. Like do what you gotta do. They made it very clear. Hey, you have. It's almost like an interview on TV. You have this like 5-minute time slot. Like get it done or you need to leave. That's another part that I really enjoyed is that like it's fun to watch like guys sit in a haunted house for like hours and just keep asking questions and like. Have stuff happen, but the fact that they were like again intelligent enough to kind of be like, hey, we're doing stuff around here, you can't keep stopping us every night. So because we have the whole ghost week, but I wanted to kind of conclude after the 3rd one.
Speaking of that, if you're bummed we didn't do the Ouija board, here's a few reasons why.
Okay.
I personally don't like Ouija boards. Why I have one?
Not many do. I would say not many do. There's some that are interested in it, but again, going into it from a serious aspect, we kind of just wanted to be like as safe as possible because we felt comfortable just leaving it at voice, and the fact that a Ouija board can bring on a lot of issues, there's way more cons than pros.
I think with how well talking to them went,
there was no need for it,
It's just like you can welcome so much bad stuff with Ouija boards, and I don't want to do it.
Like, the best case scenario is you get a word spelt out, and you can kind of learn more specific stuff.
You don't know who you're talking to.
Yeah, there's that too. Like, it's just the idea of welcoming anything. Like, like the whole risk about a Ouija board. If it's real, the risk that you're bringing is that the way I always looked at it was almost like a waiting room. And when you have a Ouija board, like it's just kind of like all right, next up, let's get it in here, and then you don't know what you're bringing in here. So that's like where the risk comes in. And again, this is if everything's real. And I'm still borderline skeptic, but like there's so much proof in these 3 nights, and that's why I wanted to continue, is because there's so many things that these spirits have been trying to say. So I think you could say it's fake all you want, that's fine, I'm not even going to argue that, but like nothing we did was faked.
There's no possible way we could have faked that.
And you can debunk a lot of stuff. I won't say you can't debunk stuff, but we definitely did not.
We're open to that, but if you say my name twice, your name twice, that's very specific things. I'm
happy you brought that up though, because I will say, as I was rewatching it, I was counting how many radio stations it was going through. Alright, just say hi, my name is Abby when you hear the first clap, okay?
Hi, my name is Abby.
That's like six stations that it just went through. So if you want to make the argument, like that was pretty much how fast like the stations are going. It's like this. So if you want to make the argument that, oh, you just overheard a radio station, sure. That's over. That's over. So when you hear a thing that's going... That's 6 stations that just probably made a coherent sentence. It's a little less likely, and the fact that we got lucky and landed on a station that responded exactly to what we were asking and maintained a cohesive personality, which each different voice that we heard. There's always an argument for everything, but like I definitely didn't want to go into this like the cliche YouTuber and be like, oh, did you hear that? Which was in the first video, and
but it happened.
Looking back, I had the worst response. It looked fake. It definitely looked fake on my part. I said this to her since the very beginning. If I can go back and have a little more genuine response, I would try, but like, for some reason I just look like the worst actor in Hollywood trying to be in a
But it was also
movie.
the first night, so we were kind of like I was on edge first night.
Yeah, so when something finally happened, I'm like, okay, so this is real. That's kind of how I was taking it. But now that we kind of summarized all 3 nights, what would you say is your conclusion? I keep saying that word, but
I guess I'm relieved.
yeah.
If something were to be here, I'm glad for what it is.
Yeah.
Like, it could be a whole lot worse.
That we could have welcomed with the Ouija board. I think we want to make that clear. There's a lot of risk, and that's where the views come from. Regardless of the negativity that we could have found, and we possibly did, that at least the people that may have gotten fed up with the repetitive questions at least sees that we're just trying to figure out more, we're trying to learn more, and not trying to harm anybody. My synopsis, not really a synopsis, just my final thoughts. Brian merch will be up on the website, 50% off at